Hi there, I'm Al-Enazi, staff writer at PWM. As you can see behind me, the clouds are engulfing London as per usual, and we'll be dissecting the cloud market in today's episode of the Startup Show. Simply put, cloud computing is the delivery of computing services, including servers, storage, databases, networking, software, analytics, and intelligence via the internet to enable faster innovation, adaptable resources, and economies of scale. This is also crucial to wealth management. One startup aiming to do this in a sustainable and socially responsible fashion is Leafcloud. And today I speak to its Chief Sustainability Officer, David Kohnstamm. Please join me for the Startup Show. Hey David, great to have you with us.
Great to be here, Ali. Thanks.
You have experience building servers and all things thermal. And you've dedicated yourself to, making the world a more sustainable place. What inspired the inception of Leafcloud's business model, focusing on social responsibility and sustainability within the cloud services industry?
The backstory is kind of long, so I'll spare you the details, but it did start with a bunch of students that their thermostat broke, and they used their gaming computers to heat up their apartment. So just ran stress or ran a bunch of games, and then they realized, hey, computers make a lot of heat, we can heat with it, why don't they do that? And then a startup came from that.
Software-related CO2 emissions account for 4 to 5% of global emissions. That's the equivalent of, the emissions of all aviation, shipping, and rail combined. Can you elaborate on how Leafcloud's unique distributed architecture enables the reduction of, natural gas and the reuse of heat generated by your servers?
So basically the status quo of the market right now is you have data centers in a field somewhere that use a lot of energy and then use air conditioning to throw the heat away as cooling. And then we have the built environment that uses natural gas or electricity to heat up their buildings. Basically, we place those servers not inside of the data center, but inside the built environment. So it's -1 total energy use for society, and therefore it becomes carbon negative. Of course, carbon negative itself is not something you can claim, as we're not actually drawing any carbon from the atmosphere, but it is, compared to the status quo, it is carbon negative.
You're coming up against these giants, like Amazon, like Google. That's a challenge in itself, right? For a startup. What challenges has the company faced, in implementing its carbon negative approach? And, how have you overcome those challenges?
There's, of course, a benefit and a downside to being small. The benefit, of course, is that you're flexible, you can move fast, and you can do things that a big company can't do. And that's why we've done this approach where we put servers where waste heat can be used. So stuff like apartment complexes, swimming pools, and elderly homes also turn out to be very, very useful. Upper management at Google and Microsoft can't do that. You don't change a winning team along the race, right? However, of course, the cloud market is extremely deep in the hockey stick, as you call it in the investment world, where you have a lot of cost up front, and then you have to get customers over a long period of time to get out of that. And the way we've approached it is by not building data centers, by not building infrastructure in fiber. So we use existing buildings, we use existing infrastructure. So we've got a lot of the costs out. So that's one of the challenges we've overcome, or one of the ways we've overcome growing this out. And another way we've overcome that is by being fully open source, European, and of course a lot cheaper because we don't build data centers. And that combination made it that customers landed quite quickly. So it took us about half a year to build a beta, and then we had the first running customers in half a year, and then we went live after a year, which for a complex product like cloud and a complex new rollout of a new product is fairly fast, I think. And so this rapid growth and rapid iteration really helped.
There's another reason as to why you decided not to build data centers.
We put them there because the waste heat can be used there directly. We don't need to transport the heat, and therefore the business case becomes much simpler. Just install a rack and a heat pump, immersion cooled system to get the heat out. And that makes it that you're actually saving costs compared to building a data center and putting infra there, rather than being more expensive.
So a more sustainable option there.
More sustainable and more cost effective. So that's the double whammy that we're sort of trying to do, right?
And generative AI is certainly the hottest trend in the cloud market industry at the moment. Google's racing to build out its Gen AI platform. Microsoft has embedded ChatGPT features in almost everything. How do you see Leafcloud's role in shaping the future of the cloud industry in terms of sustainability and social responsibility? And where does AI play a role in that?
I think there's a fairly massive role in AI in sustainability. We can be fairly sure that the energy use of IT will increase by a lot in the coming years. And we need to do that sustainably. And what we do is in a way distributed compute. And distributed compute is something that has existed for a very long time, but it was sort of waiting for a killer app. And I think Gen AI is the killer app for distributed compute, simply because when you have a trained AI, so inference itself, so prompting, it's quite low data in. It's a text prompt. It's quite low data out, text out, or a video file, or an image. But the computation is quite intensive. So distributed computation and AI are very well matched. And that's where I think we have a big impact, as well as saving a ton of costs of cooling, because our locations pay for the cooling because they get the heat for free. So we have a cost benefit and a sustainability benefit and a workload that can be distributed very well to begin with. So we see a very big future with Gen AI on our platform. And of course, there are the centralized platforms. Those are great for certain use cases. But when you look at banks, when you look at the more regulated industries, it's very difficult for them to ask company-specific questions to an American company. When you're looking at a European bank, there is no way that's going to get through regulation that they will use Gen AI from big tech. So they will run on smaller companies. They will run on European companies. So that's where we see a big chance.
David Kohnstamm, Chief Sustainability Officer of Leafcloud. Thank you.
Thank you.
The pecking order for cloud infrastructure has been relatively stable, with market leader Amazon Web Services, followed by Microsoft Azure and then Google Cloud. Revenue growth remains solid across the industry. Leafcloud says it offers a green, open and affordable alternative, but only time will tell how this startup will fare against the giants of this industry. Generative AI will certainly play a major role. That's all we have time for, folks. Join me next time where I'll be taking a look at some more very ambitious startups. Goodbye.